Hello everyone, this is Asif and hope you guys doing well. So this is my second podcast and my the first podcast I have recently shared on LinkedIn. So by chance, Noemi has just watched and asked me to voluntarily come on my podcast, and I have been following her content, specifically presentations like contents on PPC and from basic to advanced level kind of presentations. Some presentations were like evergreen kind of PPC strategies. So it was really good learning from you. And today I'm really glad to have you on my podcast, Naomi. Thank you so very much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for accepting my self invitation. It's much appreciated.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you so very much. Again, you're you are very generous and you're doing really great things. And it's kind of compassion plus passion. And doing a generous thing, it's not that much easy. People are really stuck with their professional things, but it is really good thing to share your wisdom, exposure, and experience with the people who want to know something and who want to learn. If you could please introduce yourself briefly for those who don't know you.
Sure thing. So yeah, as you were mentioning, actually, my name is Noemi. I am running an agency called Scalewave. We started 2 years ago. And the reason why I actually reached out, so there's more context to it. We've been following each other's content for a while. And to be honest, there are a lot of people who are just commenting for the sake of commenting and for engaging for the sake of engaging. And while I do still engage with people who are engaging for the sake of engaging, I did also notice that you are really, whenever you're sharing something, it's very thoughtful, very it makes sense what you're sharing. It's not like a generic answer to something. So I do love to follow those type of people, no matter where they are in this world, no matter how they are thinking of this world. It's really who is my go-to person for this exactly this. I don't know if I have a problem, you know, who would I refer to? And this is when I started following your content, to be honest. And since then, yeah, I really appreciate that you accepted my self invitation. I was like, the first time this guy is going to have a podcast or something, I want to be on it because we are sharing the same value, you know. That's
Thank
how
you
I
so
ended
very
up
much.
here.
Thank you
Sure
so very
thing.
much. You're the first international guest on my podcast. I'm really glad, and hopefully, this podcast will be worth watching for the people who are looking for to understand the basic principles and the advanced strategies for the PPC. And this podcast will be kind of complete step by step guidance. uh Naomi knows better. This is her job, and she has not just an experience, we can say she has a wisdom to share.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, to be super straightforward, what I love to do is this type of presentations are going to keep us stay consistent. So, this is why I'm giving presentations. And if you can go forward as if just like switch to the presenters mode, and I'm going to walk you through, I'm going to also give some more information about us, about who I am, and like what I am about. So,
Sure
basically
thing.
something important to note is like I've been on Amazon since 2019. I've been helping with listing and advertising for the past years, you know. And then I started also my own journey together with my husband. We started our own brand in 2020. Since then, that transitioned into Scalewave in 2021. I realized that one of the skills that I really lacked, I didn't had, and it was very important for our business right then. It was advertising. I knew zero things about advertising, zero things about spreadsheets, zero things about bid optimization. So I really literally invested over 10,000 hours in learning all those skills because I knew that first off, we weren't necessarily in the position of hiring that out. Second, I genuinely had the time and wanted to transition into marketing. So I said, okay, if we are doing this for our own brand, why not me investing the 10,000 hours actually fruit like make fruits in something else. So this is how we started Scalewave. And since 2021, we're helping brands. There are 6 to 7 figure brands to double their sales via PPC advertising, and we're also an Amazon verified partner. But before we're
Amazing.
getting started, yeah, thank you so much. Before we're getting started, though, something that I want to share both with you and both with our audience, and like just general reminder who to whoever is listening is if your skill is limited to the latest trick you learned, you'll soon become obsolete when the next new trick is discovered. And keep in mind that here I'm not pointing to no one. I'm pointing actually, if it's someone to point to myself 5 years ago when I started. Um, there was no like much information out there when it comes to advertising, Amazon, and so on and so forth. And for me, it was really like, okay, I have to learn at least the latest tricks and tips so I know what to apply right now to the account. I was in a
Yes.
firefighting mode, you know. But this kind of transition, me becoming, I knew tricks, but I didn't understand basics and fundamentals, you know. And something that right now I'm noticing, especially if when it comes down to the agency, most people know tricks, tips, but they don't have the strategic thinking advantage. Whoever has strategic thinking, they are super, super expensive to have on the team. So that being said, I just wanted to share whatever I am sharing with our internal team as well. So what we're going to learn is really the 5 strategies when it comes to advertising. Now, these are strategies that are out there. These are not new. I did not invented them. Basically, what I did, I just compiled them in a way that everyone who would understand, like who would want to understand whatever is going on in an account when it comes to advertising, they would and really understand them. What is the purpose behind any of the strategies, when to use each strategy, targeting methods as well as campaign structures, ranking power, and few examples. And of course, we're going to share some of the bonus tips, so stay tuned until the end. Um, Most importantly, what we're going to learn is how to think like a tactical ad strategist rather than being someone who implements the latest tips and tricks. How does this sound for you, Assi, so far?
Yes, this is very very important information you have just shared. That's very essential, not just important nowadays. It is there are very very updates on even on daily basis. Like now AI has steps in the Amazon advertising. So you're really correct that we need to understand the latest strategies, the latest updates regarding these Amazon strategies and Amazon updates, like how basically AI works. AI helps in advertising, or and how to utilize that AI tools and something, and how to understand those kind of data basically we are getting from AI and Amazon's own tools. So that's very essential. You have just shared things. It is not just enough to understand the basics of PPC nowadays. It is very important to understand the strategies which are really up to date.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's the gist of it. And really, it's you do have to. I love that you pointed that out. You do have to understand everything, the latest tips, tricks, AI, whatsoever. But really important is that strategic thinking. So how do you apply that,
Yes.
and when do you apply it? I think this is something that most people are missing just because the FOMO is real. You know.
Yes, that's very important. That's the thing basically, the difference between an expert and a beginner. And
Now you know, just because you're an expert. Beforehand, you weren't. So that's why, you know. All right, let's
yes,
get into the very first strategy. In the meantime, there is, as a cat owner, unfortunately, I have those, and this just started, and it's just freaking me out. So trying to stop it, and this is why we are also becoming real when it comes to this podcast. You can leave it on, prove that I'm actually a human being, and this is why.
yes, yes,
Okay, so the very first strategy is really protect. And what does this mean? Is basically in the evergreen Amazon PPC strategies, this is the very first strategy that is going to help us cover real estate on our own listing. Now, why is this important? Is because whenever we are going to cover real estate on our own listings, we're not going to allow our competition to cover their own listings on ours. So basically, this is a strategy to protect. It's really an insurance type of strategy. We would implement this strategy first. Even if you are a small brand, even if you have zero brand recognition, the idea here is really what we want to ensure is that whoever would look for your product to find your product rather than someone else's. And I would also contra argue, we just recently had a launch for a supplement brand, and they were like, people are looking for my supplements and they cannot find me. And it's like, yeah, this is why we are starting first this type of campaign, you know, because they're not going to find your product, especially if you're saying maybe even friends, family, whoever to buy your product. Ideally, they would find it with your brand name as well, because that is demand from Amazon side that actually it's not a keyword that is converting, but it's a keyword related to your brand. So quick hack there to people
yes,
who did not know about it, right?
yes.
Uh,
These are the very white hacks we can say. So
exactly. That's why we are
yes,
sharing it.
yeah.
All right. So
Thank
when
you.
it comes, Sure thing. When it comes to CPC costs, so usually these are the cheapest ads unless you really have a huge brand recognition. But why I'm saying this is cheapest, it can go from 10 cents up to $1, $2. It really depends on your niche. The targeting method here, what we would do both async targeting and keyword targeting. To give you an example of why is this like different, async targeting is basically we are creating a sponsored product targeting campaign, you are adding your own ASIN. So if people would look for your ASIN, you would show up. Keyword targeting here, we would add your brand name as well with your highest relevant keywords for your product. And that way you are going to for sure show up for those keywords. And then when it comes to campaign times, what we would do, we can create sponsored product campaigns, sponsored brand videos, and display. It really comes down to your budget. So how much can you afford for this strategy? This is how much you would implement to it. But definitely you should start with the sponsored product because that is going to guarantee the most ranking. Ranking power here, it's vertical and horizontal. We're going to go into what this actually means. And I'm also going to share some examples. So vertical ranking and horizontal ranking. And this is why I really love that actually you pointed out something that I omitted. This is a white hat strategy that you should be using. Why? It's because it's an exact match. You know, people would find the exact product that they're looking for. I love to use stuff whenever I am presenting. So right now I have the Tronco, and this is a water bottle that is insulated, and it has this like outside it has this silicone. It's made out of glass, and it has this silicone straw as well, and it has a bamboo lid. Right, this is the product, right? So
Yes.
basically whenever I'm going to look for the brand Tronco, and I would look for, I think, how would you call this one? What is this? Is this a tumbler?
Uh, I see like it's kind of tumbler, and that's straw is like a bamboo made straw.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. It looks like, kind of tumbler as well as, a water bottle, but the kind of mixed thing. So that's not clear, we can say.
Brilliant. Love that. Great feedback. So here, for example, if people don't exactly know what they are looking, or they don't know the how would you call your product, what you can rank for, or what's the keyword that you want to show up for is like Tronco, for example, Tronco water bottle. That could be a really great way of showcasing the product. Now, for
Okay.
vertical ranking, we would use exact match. So in sponsored product, exact match, this means that whoever is going to look for Tronco water bottle, they would find your product. Whoever is looking for Tronco water bottle, 6 ounces whatsoever, they will not find your product. And that will go for the horizontal ranking. And here we would use like browse, phase, auto, and category matches. And basically when it comes to ranking power, that is going to attract all the longer tail keywords that would be for the keyword basically Tronco water bottle. Does this make sense? Like why vertical ranking is going to help more on this is the product that you're looking for, you're finding it, and horizontal ranking might pull up like other keywords as well. And why is
Yes.
that a good strategy, but still like
Yes.
not so
In
exciting?
vertical ranking, it would be more, related ranking basically. You will be getting more relevant traffic and more conversions as compared to
Yeah.
the horizontal ones, what I understand.
Yeah, exactly. And probably this is why it's like super helpful that you understand catalog because you know how it works. Because what we're doing, we're completing each other, right? So your
Yes.
work, it's completing mine. All right. How I like to say it is with vertical ranking, this is really the jet that is like super quick. It's going to help you for that specific keyword to rank for. Horizontal ranking, imagine this is the uh, slow ship that is going to bring a lot of products to the board, but it's going to take some time.
Yes.
So here, for example, for the brand Huggies, here if you write Huggies, for example, a sponsored product, it would be a keyword targeting type of search. The brand, it's Huggies. The branded keyword is Huggies baby diapers. The async targeting is this tailored asyncs, and this is where they should show up if it would be a sponsored product or a sponsored product targeting, like keyword targeting or product targeting. Next, for sponsored brand headline, this is where they would show up. And next for sponsored brands video, this is where they would show up. And here, actually, There's some missed opportunities when it comes to sponsored display. And again, missed opportunity, no missed opportunity when it comes to budget allocation. This is really up to how much budget would you invest. Now, if you're Huggies, probably you do have budget. So for them, it's a missed opportunity. They're not using sponsored display to ensure that they're going to show out always within their own listing. Remember, this is a protect campaign. This is for securing your spot on your own
Yes.
listing, right?
Yes. So you're
So
not allowing someone to advertise on your product detail page.
yeah, that would be the gist of it. It's like you already have to pay so much for that freaking product page to stay online, and you know the back
Yes.
end, I know the front end, you know. So why not protect it?
Yes, you're really correct. Amazon has recently, enabled another, EBC, enhanced basic, branded content. You
Yeah,
can just put under your images on detail page as well. Now you can cover that area. So yeah,
definitely,
you're
definitely.
correct.
So that is also something that we love to use. That is not related necessarily to PPC. That would be our free spot of advertising. This is the paid
Yes,
spot. So I love that you actually mentioned that as well because it has
yeah,
to do with it. It's just like for one you pay for the other not.
yes, correct.
Right. So remember, a defense strategy is really an insurance policy for your listings. A defense strategy should always be in place, even if you think there is not much to defend. Why? I just explained to you. You can do these white hat tricks, techniques, in which way you actually can rank for relevant keywords, branded keywords. So that way is how normally someone even on Google would look up for your product. The next
Great.
strategy is conquer. So the conquer strategy basically is the second one, and here the purpose is to cover real estate on your competitors' listing. So keep in mind the first strategy is how you protect whatever it's yours. The conquer is how you take more to become yours.
Yes.
And the purpose here is so it's very clear because many people are asking me. Actually, I just posted something similar like this on LinkedIn 2 days ago, and someone was asking me, how about if these type of ads are going to cost me even more than whatever I am paying for? Should I go for it or not? And actually, my answer is really it depends on the data, but the end goal of a conquer strategy is going to be to take advantage over weak competitors. You know, so if the competitor it's really not optimized their listing, they have lower amount of reviews, they have lower amount of ratings, they have lower, they are in a disadvantage in any case compared against your listing. That could become eligible for a conquer strategy. Does it make sense? Like the difference
Okay.
between.
Yes. It would be like, price competition, like lower price, lower ratings. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yani poor product detail page as compared to your ones. And
exactly,
those are getting sales as well in that
exactly.
situation. So you will be, yeah, getting over there.
Exactly. Even if it's like some supplements, you have 90 capsules, they have 60 capsules. You still have an
Yes.
advantage, you know? So all the small details, minute details that are still checking the box, we are piggybacking basically on someone else's, how would you call it in a nice way? They're not paying attention to it and you are. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
So the CPC cost here, it really varies on the targeting and the match type. And targeting method here, we would target asins and also keywords. So the asins would be actually the products asins that you see that you have advantage over. The keyword targeting here would be actually you would add the brand names with the keywords that you're targeting. So that would be the only difference. And campaign types, sponsored product, sponsored brand, sponsored video, sponsored display, as much budget as you had. If you have budget only for sponsored products, that's where you're allocating your money. No need to allocate all over the place. You can, so that's why I'm mentioning. And when it comes to ranking dominance, really, this is a vertical and horizontal ranking as well, because here you can use both exact and also the other type of campaign.
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, it makes sense.
Sure. So here again, like because we were just talking about this, I think that this is really important, a call out. So if you have advantage, if you have strong market share, if you have more reviews, better rating, better pricing, better image, using coupons or any other offers, and the competitor is not. So if they have a weak or no market share, weak or no reviews, weak or no rating, high or same price, unoptimized main image, especially not using coupons and so on and so forth, that could be eligible competitor to go against, right?
Specifically for the conquer ones, right?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
very, yeah, exactly. And
That's a great.
here, for example, it would be Pampers. So if we are Huggies and we're going for Pampers, when I wrote in Pampers baby diapers, Huggies show up a sponsored brand video. Why? Is because probably they have the budget to show up for it, you know. And
Yeah.
here in this case, actually, this is, while it's a conquer campaign, it actually has to make sense for them how to take up market share, you know. If it's super super expensive, probably they are not going to do it unless it's really, I know what I'm doing. And remember, using the strategy to identify keywords and products that generate sales at a relatively low A cost. And it's really expensive to beat brand loyalty, but inexpensive to piggyback on unoptimized, poor ratings and cost and
Yes.
costly items. Right?
Yes. Yes. This is very very interesting line.
The third one is the ranking strategy. And basically, the ranking strategy, the purpose is really page one visibility with exact match campaigns. Now, this strategy became very popular. I believe, like 3 years ago, when everyone was saying that exact match, because that is the best match. And actually, while it's very, very important to have it, nowadays what I see, as if, and probably you, when you're like going through LinkedIn and like all these gurus are sharing their tactics, they do not explain why a ranking strategy and what is the scope of the ranking strategy. And here, what I want to just ensure that everyone understands, the ranking strategy is not the god over everything. The ranking strategy is part of 5 possible strategies. The first one is like, some people knew about it. The second one, not many people. The third one, more and more people know about it. And now they are trying to kind of like godify it, that that's the way how to go about whenever you're doing something. I want to just mention and like point out, it's not the way how to go about it. And it makes sense if it's within the strategy. But just to have it as strategy, it's going to cost you a lot of money, and it's going to
Yes.
really cost you, you know, a lot of, if you don't know what you're doing, it's a lot of pain. I would put it that way, because
Yes. You are
last
correct.
money is pain, you know. So
Yes.
purpose of the strategy is really to page one visibility with an exact match campaign. And we would use this one to increase organic ranking. CPC cost is going to vary really on the competitor bids, and targeting method is going to be keyword targeting in exact match. And campaign, here we would use the sponsored product. We tested products when it comes to like products from Amazon, when it comes to sponsored product, sponsored brand, sponsored display. And what we've seen so far is the ranking power is the highest for sponsored products when it comes to exact match ranking campaigns, especially because, for example, sponsored brands, they react totally differently. They are way more of a horizontal rather than exact vertical ranking. And ranking dominance is going to be vertical. And also, let me share some examples. So baby diapers is actually one of those keywords that both Huggies and Pampers are running ads for. So baby diapers, whenever you're typing that, you're going to find here, as I was showing, like Huggies, Pampers, they are all bidding for the same keyword. In this case, I'm not sure what is really the CPC for this one, because I did not took a note. At least $10, $20. Why? Is because, one, these are brands that are big brands, they have the marketing budget. Second, these are consumable items that, if you're a parent, I'm not sure, like, not we are not yet at the stage of knowing like how many diapers do we have to buy, right? But if you're a parent, you are going to know that if you're buying it once, you're going to buy it at least for 1 year, you know. So which means
Yes.
that in this category, it makes sense for them to pay for a customer, because the lifetime value of the customer is going to worth it for them.
Yes.
Remember, using the strategy for product launches is great, and to keep certain positions for your main keywords that are bringing most revenue. And keywords to use, it's really do a keywords research. You can do a reverse async lookup. You can do a keyword harvesting from your search term reports in case that you're already running ads. And you can also do some brand analytics and search query performance reports. And here also I would like to share like one of the ways how we would find relatively highly relevant keywords for this particular ASIN. In this case, we are using Helium 10 just because it's one of the most known softwares out there. So, for example, we would look at the 10 competitors, and then we would do a reverse ASIN on that. And we would add those, and then we would filter it very, very strongly, or very like precisely in this case. Because if we don't put any filter here, there are definitely at least 200 keywords that you can show up for, right? So what we
Yes.
want to ensure is that we're looking at the position rank. So position rank is maximum 5, which means that they have these brands are all within the fifth position, so they are the strongest in your niche. Word count here, it would be 4 plus. This is just one of the strategies to looking for longer tail keywords. It should not be used as that's the Bible, follow it. But for this very competitive niche, baby diapers, going for that keyword is a killer, you know. So this is why we have to be super super strategic on long keyword tail. Match type here, we are going to select only organic. Next, we are going to exclude phrases containing, and here I'm adding the brand names. So if it's Pampers, Huggies, Amazon Prime deals, and so on and so forth, those are keywords that we don't have a chance to convert on right away when we're launching the product. So those would be keywords that we're taking away. Ranking competitors count. Why is this important? Is because what we want to ensure is that out of the 10 competitors, how many of those are going to show up for these keywords within the placements or position ranks that we found. Why is this important? Is because that is going to show you market dominance and what you're doing, especially whenever you're launching, like you're running a product launch, you want to take away market share, right? So that would be the next one. And then based on all those filters, we still found 37 keywords, you know. So
Yes,
this is just
that
one of the strategies. Yeah.
yes,
Well,
these are
what you?
much more keywords with a lot of filters.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very hard to get 37 keywords with those that much filters. Yes.
Yeah. But again, the idea this is that don't follow what I like. Don't go right in to your keyword research and do this and like apply it to your listing. It's not going to work. What I'm sharing with you is the tactical thinking behind why are you going to do it, or go do it and see where do you rank against your competitors. That could be also like a good way to see, you know. But the idea is just like understanding the strategies. It's going to be very important because remember the idea is that we're going to help you think strategically rather than this is the next trick and now I know and now I'm going to apply it. Make sense?
Yes. Yes, you're correct.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so dominate, this is the fourth. And here basically the purpose is top of search visibility. So we have like different placements on Amazon whenever someone is looking to find the product. Going back to, for example, this was, what did we name it? Tumbler or water tumbler? We named it water tumbler, right?
Yes,
So
it's water tumbler. You
water
named it, but
tumbler,
I was
yes.
not clear about that.
I'm
Yes.
not clear either. So, and I'm in advertising. So, until I'm running my research, I will know how it's named. But
Yeah.
basically, the purpose here is going to be to dominate those 4 to 5 positions and ensure that you're going to get as many eyeballs as possible. We would use this strategy to dominate search results and like top of search placement. And the CPC cost here is going to be the most expensive digital shelf, since this is where like 60 to 70% ads are converting, simply because people are just lazy, and if they found the product that they're looking for, they're not going to scroll through unless it's that type of product that they don't really care and it's only a pricing issue, you know. So targeting method is going to be keyword targeting in exact match and campaign types. You can use all the campaign types. Ranking dominance, this is going to be vertical. This is a very purposeful type of strategy. And I'm going to also share some examples. So when it comes to placement modifier and suggested bid, here you can really play around. We've seen that for some, I'm not sure why, but for some products it works if you are adding also a placement modifier besides the highest bid that we can think of. For other products, it's really not important. However, always have the dynamic bids down only, because that is going to give you at least a stop loss of wherever, like what is the highest bid that you would go for, even if you already have a 900% placement modifier. So that is really, really important takeaway. This is
Yes.
something that it's strategy, but this is something that you should do. This is not like the other example that I gave to follow it through. This is something that you should do to check where you are, basically, because that's the purpose. Yeah,
Yes. Quick question regarding the placements.
sure.
If we can say, like, the top of search first page is like 900%, you bid has been added there. So the product pages are zero. Like, what is
Hmm.
the secret, or what if we shouldn't like add 100 or 200 in the product pages? That's not worth to add the percentage there, and as compared to the top of the search. What I think, like, is the top of the search is more competitive than the product pages. It's kind of thing. If I'm not sure
Hmm.
if Just asking, for the audiences as well, for the basic understanding of this.
That's a great question. And the idea here, what we want to show up, so the campaign itself, this campaign dominate, it's to show up on top of search visibility. Therefore, if we would add here for product pages, that defeats the strategy of showing up on top of search. Because right now we are showing up on top of search. So this is why we would choose the top of search instead of the product pages. Now, stay with me. I'm still like with you on when you should be using product pages versus top of search. You can use also product pages to show up there, but that is not anymore a dominate for the purpose of top of search visibility. That would be
Ah,
a dominate for
got
the
it.
purpose of product pages. Did that answer your question?
No, it's all good now. Thank you so much for
Brilliant.
explaining
Sure
that.
thing. Sure thing. Yeah, do feel free to ask questions. Like these kind of questions are great because I love to get questions because most of the time what I'm also seeing on my end with the team is like I know what I know, but I don't know what they don't know. And if it doesn't matter if I know what I know, if I'm not teaching them to know what I know, so they know what I know, it's like it makes no sense. So
Yes,
I love
yes,
that.
the questions should be more relevant and more logical. So that's
Right.
why if the question is
Right.
comes in my mind, so I'm asking.
Exactly, it's brilliant. All right, and then suggested bid here, for example, keep in mind that still the suggested bid is like it goes up to $13. So in this case, if you're in the niche and you would like to show up on top of search, you can imagine how expensive is this going to be to show up there. However, the end goal here is market share or keeping keeping your market share or taking up market share, and that is really an investment. It's not like a getting the cheap sales. And remember, to be the highest bidder, use the suggested bid and increase it at least 50 to 100%. And honestly, I would actually take this out because it's not as much about 50 to 100%. It's when do you show up on top of search? Do you have 200 placement modifier? Do you have 900 placement modifier? Is it enough to just have a high bid without placement modifier?
Yes.
So that would be the strategic thinking rather than do this and then you're going to get it when and then someone is coming to us and Noemi told me to raise it by 50 to 100% and it's 200 and I'm not showing. No, I'm teaching you to show up there. That's the end goal, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're correct.
So for example, Amazon would suggest a $1 highest bid you should offer between $1.50 and $2. See if you're showing up. If you're not showing up, it means that you're not yet applying this strategy. Until you're showing up there, that is when you're applying the strategy. And here again, I'm mentioning play around with low bid, high bid placement and high bid, low bid placement. Because honestly, I don't know why sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. For different accounts, it works differently.
Yes, regarding the bid, I have a quick question. Sorry for the interruption.
Do no interruption. Go on.
Yes, regarding, if we have discussed, you have shared like, a low bid. Uh, there is on Amazon, there is a specific strategy on Amazon side. Like if you do add a lower bids, your products will not be exposed to the audiences. There's a kind
Mm-hmm.
of limit. Like if the Amazon's suggested bid is like $10, how
Mm-hmm.
much you should add initial bids to expose your products to the market or to the shoppers?
At least $10. So here, for example, in this case, for the baby diapers, it gives a suggestion bid between $3 and $13, and Amazon suggested bid is $10. By
Yes.
this, what Amazon is telling us that at least if you're going to bid $10, you might show up in different placements, but it's not guaranteed that you're showing up on top of search because clearly they have the 13.80, which is
Yeah.
ideally their top of search. So based on
Mhm.
that, you would go to the highest, and once that you give the highest bid, then you will see if you show up or not. And remember, this is really like this is a killer strategy, and this is a strategy that should be applied to exam exactly for those keywords that you have the highest confidence that are converting. Because think of it like, what are you losing with this strategy? What are you losing? You can lose a lot of money, but what are you gaining? You are keeping your market share for that specific keyword, and if you're converting and if you're relevant, Amazon will promote your product first rather than someone else's. So what you're gaining is trust, Amazon's trust of keeping you
Yes.
there no matter what. If it's converting, it's great. If people are not going to buy your product, no matter what keyword, no matter how much you're paying for it, people are never going to buy the product. So this is like a data gathering based on the data that you previously had rather than I'm trying out a new strategy. Let's see if it works. So that's very important takeaway.
Yes. Yes, that's very true.
Discover, this is the very last one. And this actually, remember, as if when at the beginning of the meeting, we were talking about strategies and now how everyone is like ranking, ranking, ranking. Discover was the ranking, ranking, ranking of 3 years plus in the back. It was like start with discovery campaigns. And basically, the purpose is going to be to discover new search terms. You would use these ones at any stage of the product, the CPC costs. Here, it can be really seemingly cheap, but it really depends on how well are you executing at negating things. And then targeting method here, it would be auto broad phrase and category match. Campaign types, you can use all of them. Ranking dominance is going to be horizontal. And some of the examples here, for example, would be the way how you would find this out is going to your measurement and reporting and then pulling the data for the search term reports. I like to pull at least for 30 days. And then basically on that, you will find out if like which are the keywords that actually are converting well for you, which are the keywords that are not converting, so you would be negating them. But basically, this strategy is kind of a net of throwing out whatever you think it might work, whatever Amazon is thinking about your product. And it's really like I just seen Elizabeth Green, who's like huge shout out to her. I really love her content. She's amazing. And she just
Yes.
like shared something really interesting. And I was like, yeah, thank you so much for pointing that out. So auto campaign actually can work brilliantly even for large catalogs. So whenever you don't know exactly which is the product that you should be going for, look at Amazon, what it says. The idea still with these campaigns is going to be that you're going to get cheaper sales. You have the less amount of control that you can have. However, it's still going to help you get sales. So that's like, this is why I'm saying that while we also have like strategies and we have them in like different parts and so on, different segments, I like to avoid people who are very much, this is the Bible, believe in it. The Bible is like everything. It's like there's not one
Yes.
thing, it's like trying out things. So this is why I'm like hugely stressing on try it out and see what works for your account, because what you're paying for is for the data, and the data is
Yes.
very expensive and it's an investment. Remember, this one is the most used strategies because it requires the least amount of effort for keyword strategies. Why? It's so easy. You're just setting it up. You don't need to know anything about ads. You're just setting it up within less than 1 minute, honestly. Also, this strategy is also effective when a brand relies heavily on exact match targeting, because then it's going to kind of balance between the which are the things that I don't know yet I want about my product that I want to rank for, and which are the things that I know and want to go towards. And also examining your search reports, be very careful with mass keyword negation. Again, talking about the Bible, that is a thing that you should follow. I do believe that while keyword negation is really important, and honestly, people need topics to talk about. I just said that very rudely, but truth is that keyword negation is very, very costly. Not in the sense that you're going to negate keywords that are not working for the account, but you might be stopping campaigns that perfectly function just well, and because you heard that you have to negate keywords, you're just throwing in within the campaign and you just stop the campaign performance. So this is why I like highly advise you, whenever you're testing negation, test it on a small campaign, and ideally test it on a campaign that is the most out of rogue. So if it's one campaign that is 200% ACOS and it's like a discovery campaign, test it there rather than on the campaign that is generating you 100 sales per month and it's like at a 100% ACOS. So keyword negation, check mark, it's good. When to apply keyword negation? We have one campaign that has
Okay.
a lot of sales, the
Okay.
ACOS might be high, and it might request keyword negation. Are you with me so far? So one campaign that is bringing a lot of sales. ACOS high, it's bringing a lot
With
of
the
sales. The
high
second
cost.
high ACOS, a
Yes.
lot of sales, but a lot of sales. The second
Yes.
campaign, it has a high ACOS, it's not bringing sales.
Okay.
So in case that we would test this strategy, we would test it on the second campaign that where we are not losing anything if we're going to add keywords to see if it works for us. Because the proper use of keyword negation is to ensure that you're stopping bleeding for things that are irrelevant for you. Therefore, if you would do a surgery on the account, let's put it in this way. If you're going to do a beauty surgery, try the doctor first on the parts of your body that matter the least. If you're not sure about the doctor, but if you know
Okay.
that this doctor already has like good performance, you're trying it on the face. rather than, you know what I mean? So that would be also the strategy behind. You can try out keyword negation on campaigns that are the worst, that where only it can improve something. You would not try it on something that already works well, and you're just adding your negation there, and it's destroying the campaign that is bringing you the most income. Did that clarify a bit more the
Yes,
strategy?
it is now more clear. I hope
Awesome.
people will be more clear when they're watching the session as well.
But I love it because if you had not asked this, I couldn't have made it clear. So appreciate a lot your question. All right, bonus tip. Let's go into bonus tip. Asif, do we still have time for that? All right, so how we troubleshoot. Basically, these are the few things that we're going to be really important for us. So if you get clicks but no conversions, we would optimize the listings. Clicks without conversions is a listing issue. Usually that is what we're seeing. If there are impressions but no clicks, we would increase bids again by 25% to ensure you show up on top of search page, and then check for placement. So if you are running um, if your products are not showing up enough, it means that your bid is too low. If there are impressions but no conversions, we will check for placements for your ad. What is going to be really important is to see where do we show up, because usually the top of search placement is going to bring the most eyeballs. If you're showing up on a listing that has 0 views, it means that also your product is going to have 0 views, just because whatever you're targeting, it's not going to allow people to find your product. If the budget runs out before Pacific time midnight, we would decide if we want to increase the budget based on the campaign performance. These are the things that I'm seeing most common are happening, and these are the most common troubleshooters that people don't have a strategy for it, and they don't understand the basic, therefore they cannot apply. So that's why I brought this up. And here
Thank you.
the sure thing here is going to be the final thoughts. It's like, expect that Amazon will continue bringing out new ad products, so be always prepared to learn each new feature roll out. And giving you here an example, I think a few months back they rolled out this feature where they could consume. Wait, the latest feature that I was most pissed about is the feature where if you're going to create manually your bids, your ads, there's the dynamic bid down only, dynamic up and down, and then fixed bid. And without any notification, what they did, they switched these two. So instead of the dynamic bid down only, they switched it into dynamic up and down. And then the dynamic only became the second one, and the third one, it still remained fixed. So it was like a small adjustment. We
Yes,
until we find out what is causing us losing a lot of money, without, like, we did not plan to lose that much money, like what is going on, until we found out that Amazon did not give us any notification, anything like that, you know. And what I'm saying here is just like, keep in mind that we love Amazon because Amazon makes us sales. Also, Amazon is
yes,
self-serving, so we have to be aware that they are self-serving, and if it's within their, like, if they have to hit the quota for, you know, for Q, they might be doing stuff that are not the best interest for you, you know. So
yes.
keep that in mind, right?
And
So
they
if
are
you,
stepping in
yeah, go on.
as well nowadays for that.
Exactly, exactly. And if we are not regularly checking in for challenge, like any new changes, they will assure to profit from your lack of attention. Everyone profits from your lack of attention. Do not expect Amazon to not do it. They're a business,
Yes,
unfortunately. They can choose the way how they're doing it. If this is the methodology when it comes to sellers, okay. For customers, they are like all above and beyond. For sellers, they are not. We just have to be upfront about it and be prepared for it, right?
yes. Amazon has the dominance, so there is
Yes,
no question about. Yeah, you're
right.
right.
And the very last one is that you'll have to become better at outsmarting your competitors. Because what I'm noticing so far, I actually just had also a quick back and forth with a brand that I really actually enjoyed. And what I noticed is, while they are dominating the market share, they have around 15 to 16% market share. There are two more brands after them. One has 9%, the other one again has 9%. But the combined is 20%, which means that actually the competitors are outbidding them. The moment is just a bit is like going down, you know. So being
Yes,
aware of outsmarting the competitors and how to think 5 steps ahead is going to give you a strategic advantage rather than, oh, this is what happened to me, what to do next, you know. So
yes.
Back again. If your skill is limited to the latest tricks you learn, you'll soon become obsolete when the next new trick is discovered. If there's nothing else that your listeners and our listeners are going to take away, this is the one thing that I want you to take away. You
Thank
cannot,
you.
yeah, you cannot stay at the last thing. And here, Ready for Growth, I'm also sharing our QR code. How can people find me most of the time? This is like most commonly asked question. And again, this was the chance how actually I could got on the podcast because Asif started following me on LinkedIn. So that being said, this was the very last slideshow. You can refrain from sharing if you want to, but basically that's it.
Thank you so very much, Noemi. What I feel is like basically you have just breaking down the complex strategies into simple steps to understand for a normal beginner guy, or someone who is looking forward to enhance their skills and understand the advanced strategies. And if anyone want to come and want to ask you anything or want to approach you, so that's the code, I believe.
Right, that is the code, and also I'm sharing. So the website is scalewave.io. The way, if you want to contact us, you can do so by contact@scalewave.io. And if you want to find me and just request my friendship, I'm happy to reciprocate it. You can do so by LinkedIn. That is where I'm most active. That is where I'm sharing this type of content that I share with you, but of course in bit sizes, because actually today's topic was a full-fledged webinar or training on how would you do things when it comes to Amazon strategy advertising. So LinkedIn would be the best way also for people to find me and also say hello.
Yes, Noemi, thank you so very much.
My
Anything
pleasure, Asi.
in the last line, if you want to say something for anyone, a service provider, or it could be an Amazon seller?
I want to say for both. I do believe, like, here what I shared. Honestly, most people wouldn't share these, like, inside tactics and tips because they are fearful that someone else is going to steal it. The only reason why I am sharing this one tactical knowledge is I genuinely want to have anyone who's coming to us to know what we are about and that we are about education. So for me, education is really important because whatever I'm preparing as content is I'm thinking of my 2019 version of Noemi who poorly she's like, what do I know next? I don't know what to do next. So this type of content that I'm sharing is for that specific person. If you're looking for an agency, also be sure that you at least have someone who understands this type of
Yes.
knowledge. I'm not saying that we should be the right fit. If we're not the
Yes.
right fit, it's completely fine. But what I'm like, it's education. If you
Yeah.
are educated, you are going to do killer partnerships. If you're not, there's always going to be a disconnect and the lock button is going to be off.
And
Those are my last words.
those could be in a trouble as well. You were my first international guest, and hopefully people will like it.
They will. Definitely,
And
definitely.
looking forward to catch you with again in a second episode as well in the
It was
future.
my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure.